Well, it's a big year for the Hughes family ahead of the 2015 Cheltenham Festival without Dessie for the first time, and we caught up with Sandra to find out more about her chances. Well, Sandra, you're going into the Cheltenham Festival at the helm this year, and you've got a fine team assembled to go. I think Lieutenant Colonel's probably the best place to start because he goes for the World Hurdle.
Yeah, he's probably the head of the team this year. He's won his 2 Grade 1s, so he's entitled to go, and he's our biggest chance, I think, for the week. He was fine last year. The longer he was there, the better he was, so he'll be fine. I'm not worried about him travelling.
And you know, you talked about his last performances. He's beaten Jetson twice, which in itself is an achievement. So he's just holding his form the whole time, isn't he?
A lot of people said the Hattons Grace might have been a soft Grade 1, but when he came out and did it again at Christmas, it proved that he's a proper Grade 1 horse.
Now, the Tullow Tank, he has several entries, but just tell us which race he's going to go for.
He'll go for the JLT. We were very happy with his last run. His jumping has been a bit of an issue, but we think we've ironed out those issues now, and I think it was more of a confidence thing with him, and he jumped exceptional in Leopardstown the last day, so we'll be looking forward to seeing him out in Cheltenham.
There's no doubt the engine is there. I mean, he's a multiple Grade 1 winner over hurdles.
Oh yeah, the engine is there, and if he can jump around Cheltenham, he'll be thereabouts to the finish.
Thunder and Roses, what's he going to go for?
He'll go for the 4 mile. He ran a very good race in Navan the last day. He stays all day, and we think he'll stay the 4 mile. He's a very good jumper, and he's got very good experience. But some of his beginners' chases were like graded chases, really. He was knocking on the door a lot, but I think the 4 mile will really suit him, and I'm delighted to have a chance to bring him. You know, a big galloping track, and I think he'll stay all day. So. And
the play on stamina over the 4 miles.
Yeah.
People are very much talking about this 4 mile race as being, I suppose, going up in its quality. I think people are starting to sort of upgrade it in their own status.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a graded race at the end of the day, and it's in Cheltenham, you know, and they're not to be sneezed at. But yeah, there's specific horses for specific races, and I suppose for horses that don't quite have the speed for the likes of the RSA or the RSA, it is an option. And obviously not every horse stays, but the ones that do, it's a race for them.
And sometimes it's hard when you have a horse, you put the entries in, and then sometimes I guess you must be between as to whether or not to go for the big one or take what I suppose is the easier option.
Yeah, well, with the early closings, you have to make the entries, because if you're not in, you can't win. So by making the multiple entries, you have choices, and it's a lot easier then when you have the choices, rather than knowing you have to go for one race and that's it, you know. So I think everybody does the same. Everybody, enters in everything and then decides where they want to go at the end. The
only option for active payroll, there could be the Grand Annual.
Yes, we'll see what weight he gives him over in England. He's been placed in his beginners' chases, which have been very good runs, but he's very much ground dependent, and he won't travel if the ground's not good.
So he has to have good ground.
Has to have good ground.
Okay.
Yeah, has to.
Well, he's a straightforward one from that point of view.
Yes.
And another one to mention is Pink Coat for the county.
Yeah, he's another one that we won't know till near the time if he's going to get into the race. But he had a very good run in the Boyle Sports Hurl just in January. He had 12 months off, so it was an exceptional run for such a break. And we think Cheltenham will suit him, and it's a bit of a lottery of a race, but he deserves to be there. If he gets into the race, but we won't know that till later on.
And it's a big year for the Hughes family because you're at the helm. It's the first year you're going into the festival without Dessie, who had enormous success, which we'll come back to. But you've kept the show on the road, and more than that, because the horses are doing great, and I guess for every point of view, everyone wants the Hughes family to do well this year.
Well, I want the Hughes family to do well anyway, but it's going to be very hard at Cheltenham this year. The whole Cheltenham was Dad, so it's going to be very, very hard without him. But hopefully we'll do him proud and we'll have some success over there.
Well, he is actually being remembered because what's happening is which anyway, the Trainers Award is going to be in his name as such. It'll be the Dessie Hughes Top Trainer Award, and that's a fitting thing because he was a trainer that did so well there, and it's a nice way to have him there at the festival.
It is. It's nice for him to be remembered. We were asked, Mommy was asked if she would like to do it, and she thought it was nice. So it's nice for him to be remembered at his favourite time of the year.
And Richard, your brother, we know he loves Cheltenham. We know he's been there in action, and he'll be there as part of the Hughes team, won't he?
Yeah, well, Cheltenham for us has always been a very family time, because Richard and Lizzie would always come up, and we don't get to see them very often. So we knew Cheltenham was one of those family times. So it'll be nice to see them this year, but again, it'll be hard with Dad not being there.
But you've got the memories, and the memories stretch back to the 70s. You were saying earlier, probably you're too young to fully appreciate it at the time. But of course, Monksfield, that him and your father were sort of legendary together. And then there was Davey Lad. It was a wonderful time that remains in racing memory.
Yeah, they were great horses and great times. I mean, I don't remember them live as such. We used to go to my aunt's house when Cheltenham was on. But with technology now, you can watch YouTube, and I sit down with my kids now, and we look at Grandad riding all those winners in Cheltenham, and I mean, their eyes are leaping out. Was that Grandad? But it's fabulous to be able to look back and appreciate them now. Whereas when we were younger, you don't appreciate things as much, I suppose.
But like you say, his grandchildren can look back, and that's that they can say, their grandpa was a fabulous rider and rode these amazing horses.
Yes, I suppose they've been here with Grandad going racing and seen him train winners, and now they're coming racing with me. But they would never have remembered Grandad as a jockey. So to be able to see them and remember him that way is very special. Yeah.
And then as a trainer, I suppose the horse we associate him with the most success was Hardy Eustace, he was a terrier. He was a very good terrier. He was a fabulous horse, wasn't he?
He was. He was our star, but he was absolutely fabulous. He sort of arrived just at the right time for Dad. He had gone through a very bad patch with a virus in the yard, and things had just got back on track. And when you need a good one, and Hardy came along, and he was our good one, and he was fabulous. He really was.
We've obviously talked about the great moments of your father's training career, and as you've all enjoyed as a family, but is there any memory that particularly stands out for you at Cheltenham?
I suppose the memory that stands out for me is Hardy Eustace winning his second champion hurl. I was due a baby in 2 weeks' time, so I shouldn't have even been there, but I made it to Cheltenham, and it was very exciting seeing him coming up the straight, and it was fantastic. Yeah,
but for any
fabulous.
Horse to win a champion hurdle is a big deal. To win it twice.
Yeah, to do it twice, that's what made it so special. To go back and do it again a year later was a fantastic tribute to my dad.
And the successes continued, and I'm sure they'll continue to do so. But the team, you're at the helm, you've been involved for a long time, obviously here, and grown up with it all. But there's plenty of people that continue on that have been in the yard as well. So it's a big team effort, isn't it?
It is a huge team effort. I've got Rob Hennessy as my head man, who's been here for 15 years. He was the groom that looked after Hardy Eustace all those many years ago. But and I've Roger Loughran and Paul Finn, the head man, the head manager, yard manager, and just all the lads in the yard. They've all been fantastic. They work as hard for me as they did for Dad, and it's all a huge team effort. And without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing.